Well, welcome everybody to our Sunday gathering. We're so happy you are here. Oh, I just got something that popped up. My internet is unstable. Well, Carrie and Phil, I'll be back if I should happen to disappear. My goodness. Well, today you hear the song, The Power of Love. I've heard some words in there that I really didn't realize. You don't need a credit card. Nope, it's free. And it might just save your life. You know, a couple of years ago, my friends and I, we started the Sunday gathering. And I have to say it saved my life because we all can go through some very dark times. But each Sunday, no matter what, you get back what you put out there, put a big smile on my face, felt the love in my heart, joined together with you all. And by the end of our hour and a half, filled with love. So love is what brought our Sunday gathering together. My love for my friends and our love for you. So we're happy we're here. Today, it's me, Sandra Champlain. We've got the beautiful Carrie McLeod, the handsome Phil Dykes. Our friend Darren is not with us. He is traveling by plane back home. So it's just our three amigos today on our Sunday gathering. So with that, just sit back, relax. We're so grateful that you are here. And I'm going to turn it over to one of my friends for the opening prayer.
Thank you very much, Sandra. An absolute pleasure to be here as always. And safe travels to Darren on your way home. For everybody else that chooses to be with us either live or on the recording, allow us to start off our Sunday gathering in the usual manner, in prayer. Divine and ever-present creative force of life, in this gathering in which we enter into with the theme of love, that love that is unconditional from the creative force of life and flows readily through each and every one of us. Through this time and the week to follow, may we allow that flow of life to move through us, to inspire us, to create new thought, and to open our hearts to love even more of the world around about us. We know that love cannot conquer all in the physical world, but within the emotional, the spiritual, and the mental world, love can create wonders and miracles. So as we have our theme of love, allow us to enter into that sacred space of the heart and of the soul, and share within this space a love that can conquer almost all. We can make a difference. Amen.
Thank you, Carrie. And I will be bringing you the reading today. And this is written by a lady named Bobby Probstein. When my father spoke to me, he always began the conversation with, "Have I told you lately how much I love you?" I love that. The expression of love was reciprocated, and in his later years, as his life began to visibly ebb, we grew even closer, as if that were possible. At 82, he was ready to die, and I was ready to let him go so that he would suffer no more. We laughed and cried and held hands and told each other of our love and agreed that it was time. I said, "Dad, after you've gone, I want a sign from you that you're fine." Well, Dad laughed at the absurdity of that. You see, Dad didn't believe in the afterlife, and I wasn't positive either, but I had had many experiences that convinced me that I could get some signal from the other side. My father and I were so deeply connected. I felt his heart attack in my chest at the moment he died. Later, I mourned that in the hospital, and their sterile wisdom had not let me hold his hand as he slipped away. Day after day, I prayed to hear from him, but nothing happened. Night after night, I asked for a dream before I fell asleep. And yet 4 long months passed, and I heard and felt nothing but grief at his loss. My mother had died 5 years before of Alzheimer's, and though I had grown daughters of my own, I felt like I lost a child. One day, while I was lying on a massage table in a dark, quiet room waiting for my appointment, a wave of longing for my father swept over me. I began to wonder if I had been too demanding in asking for a sign from him. I noticed that my mind was in a hyperacute state. I experienced an unfamiliar clarity in which I could have added long columns of figures in my head. I checked to make sure that I was awake and not dreaming, and I saw that I was as far removed from a dreamy state as one could possibly be. Each thought I had was like a drop of water disturbing a still pond, and I marveled at the peacefulness of each passing moment. Then I thought, I've been trying to control the messages from the other side. I will stop that now. Suddenly, my mother's face appeared. My mother, as she had been long before Alzheimer's disease had stripped her of her mind, her humanity, and 50 pounds. Her magnificent silver hair crowned her sweet face. She was so real and so close, I felt I could reach out and touch her. She looked as she had a dozen years ago, before the wasting away had begun. I even smelled the fragrance of joy, her favorite perfume. She seemed to be waiting and did not speak. I wondered how it could happen that I was thinking of my father and my mother appeared. And I felt a little guilty, as I had not asked for her as well. I said, "Oh, Mother, I'm so sorry that you had to suffer with that horrible disease." She tipped her head slightly to one side, as though to acknowledge what I had said about her suffering. Then she smiled, her beautiful smile that I remember so distinctly. And she said, "But all I remember is love." And she disappeared. I began to shiver in a room suddenly gone cold, and I knew in my bones that the love we give and receive is all that matters and all that is remembered. Suffering disappears. Love remains. Her words are the most important I have ever heard. And in that moment is forever engraved in my heart. I have not yet seen or heard from my father, but I have no doubts that someday, when I least expect it, he will appear and say, "Have I told you lately how much I love you?" Oh, that's a beautiful story. I just spent the last many days with my mom, and of course, my dad had passed suffering. So there were some tears when I first read that, but it's very, very special. And we can create love. And I'm going to just tell you this beautiful quote by Mother Teresa. And you've probably heard it before. "Spread love everywhere you go. First of all, in your own house. Give love to your children, to your wife or husband, or to a next door neighbor. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness, kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, and kindness in your smile." As we move on to our healing, Carrie has beautifully shared about healing in our last many Sunday gatherings. But I thought now, our power of love and the power of intention can move mountains, can heal, can do so many things. And I thought, what if right now we each thought of someone that we love? And you can close your eyes if you like, just for a moment. Maybe a special time you were together or holding hands, whatever that may be. But feel that love. And if it brings a smile to your face, just let that smile rip across your face. Just smile. Let that heart shine and smile. And with that, we're going to have a music video as we do. And if you have your eyes open, that's okay. Or if you don't, that's okay. But I want you to imagine that love that you are feeling is just pouring into the earth. And with that, the people of the earth become healthy, well, and whole and complete. You can see everyone transform. You can see the world where we know there's many areas of no peace. You can see peace. You can see people coming together again, smiling, happy, whole, healthy. So let's listen to the song. And now we'll have Carrie and Phil.
Thanks so much for that beautiful song, Sandra, and that lovely video that goes with it. It's beautiful when we can enter into that healing, and it's also beautiful when we can imagine that love being shared with the earth and with other people on it. Because when we send that love, we make a difference. And it might make sense, but did you know that you can't give away what you don't already have? If you don't love yourself, you can't give that love away to anybody else. If we look at how we can create that love of self, people talk about gratitude. You might have heard about when you're grateful for something, or you look for things to be more grateful for in your life, you begin to see more grateful things that you're grateful for, because you start focusing your attention on things that bring abundance into your life, and not for the things that you perceive take that abundance away or bring in a sense of lacking. So if you allow yourself to give more freely of your love, then what happens is you begin to bring more love to yourself. The universe hears us and brings more to us as what we've been sending out. So when you give your love, you actually multiply the amount of love you get back. It's the same for anything that we give out. Whether it's our intentions, whether it's our thoughts, whether it's our love, whether it's our time, we get more back. Now, I might hear you say, time? You cannot create more time. Correct, you cannot create more time. But when you're spending your time in the things that you love, you don't notice the time that you've spent doing the things that you didn't want to do. You start appreciating that time flies by. We've done a weekend workshop and time flew, because we're both in a power that we love, with people that create a generosity of spirit, both seen and unseen. So we can generate more time for ourselves, but we can use that time more carefully. And when we're careful about what we're spending our time on, it just becomes a very special place to be in. When we're sharing that love, we naturally move to being what we would say, and we've said it many times before, in the face of adversity, with people around about you that might say or do things that you can't control, be the kindest person in the room. When there's anything happening that seems to fly in the face of what you would like the world to bring you, be the kindest person in the room. When somebody does an ill or does a deed that is not to your liking, you guessed it, be the kindest person in the room. It stops me, if I use that for myself, it stops me focusing on the negative aspects. Because if I'm the kindest person, my behavior is the only thing I can control. And my behavior shapes how much love I can give. Because when we're being unkind, yep, seems an obvious thing, but when we're being unkind, really hard to share the love. When we've got bad thoughts in our head, it's really hard to share the love. So when we're being the kindest person in the room, there's much more space to share that understanding, that compassion and generosity of spirit to everybody else around about you. Now, when you're being the kindest person in the room, there's also another thing that I find allows me to appreciate life to the fullest. And it's to do one thing hard daily. One hard thing daily. Now, that might be being the kindest person in the room. It might also be something else. It might be something you've been putting off. It might be that phone call, or doing that chore, or doing that piece of work, or making that telephone call, or having that conversation with somebody. It might be finishing off a piece of work in the house. It might actually be doing that dreaded house chore that you've been delaying. Whatever it is, if you can do one hard thing daily, then you train yourself and you can work up to doing the larger things. When we don't give ourselves an easy time of it, guess what? We have more abundance and space in ourselves for love. We have more space to be compassionate, to be the kindest person in the room, and we appreciate ourselves more. So think about something you've been putting off for, I don't know, forever, perhaps. That place, that thing to do, that thing to say. Think about something you have been procrastinating about. And imagine if by tomorrow you had done that. Imagine what the world might feel like. Might it feel like there was a little something taken off your shoulder? And with that little something off your shoulder, maybe that capacity for sharing love with everybody else would increase. There's madness in what I'm sharing, but it makes common sense. It might sound like it's not, but Phil and I walk this walk. We don't always find it easy, but we have each other to remind. We'll be there. Yeah. And we've got each other to remind. So share this. Let other people know what they can do to help you, and you help them, not as a way of catching each other out, but as a way of helping each other be that vessel to share love in the world.
Thank you, Kerry. Love makes you do some wondrous things in life, doesn't it? Just as Kerry said, it helps you remember who we are, and that love for somebody helps you remember to be that kindest person in the room, as she mentioned, because we've got to remember that sometimes we forget we're only human. So a little bit of a nudge or a kick in the shin underneath the table helps you remember to be that kindest person. But if we look at love, and love has been talked about so many times, we have to remind ourselves, because we take it for granted, don't we? We take our loved ones for granted. Maybe that person at the side of you or in front of you, just as I look at you guys and Sandra across the other side of the pond, sometimes we think they're always going to be there. But it's having that gratitude, isn't it? That gratitude of what they do for us, how they make us feel, because they can do lots for us. They can go out to the ends of the world for us. But it's not that you remember. It's what you remember is what they made you feel. They make you feel special. They make you feel alive. They make you feel like you're the luckiest person in the world. They make you feel like there's nothing that you can't do. That's what love does for you. So you can have love for your loved ones, your brother, your sister, your mum, your father, everybody that your entire family encompasses. Or you can have friends that do everything for you, friends that can give you everything. But it's that feeling that they give you that you don't have to explain anything. You don't take them for granted, because they're always there, always in front. They know you so well. They do things without you even asking. And then we come to our loyal companions, our pets, unforgiving, unconditional love in adversity, even in hardship, even when we, in our moments, we don't have anything for self, but we will sacrifice and give our last penny to buy food for that pet that we love, just like our children. But there's much more about life to love, which is nature, the love of the great outdoors, what it can bring to us. That peace, that upliftment and inspiration. And we only have to look at the flowers that are all around us, the vivid colours, the scents and the smells, that they bring joy to our nostrils and hearts. And they remind us Because smell, ladies and gentlemen, is hardwired to our brains. So if you can think of something that reminds you of your loved one, it's because of that attachment to love. So sometimes we can smell a little bit of perfume and it reminds us of our loved ones that's gone before us. Or it might be a piece of fruit or a cake that they used to make or bake for you. It brings all those memories flooding back, a little bit like mediumship, as those memories are brought by that loved one purposely to have that chain knock-on domino effect to remind you of other memories you shared. And it's that understanding of what love's about, because it's those loved ones that cross that veil through love to be here with us, to reunite. And sometimes we sit here and we may not get a contact, but we love listening to other people's contacts, and we can feel that passion, we can feel that presence, we can feel that love that actually conquers all, even death. And it's understanding that sacrifice that we have, sacrifice that we will do for our loved ones and friends, how we will put ourselves to one side to actually do our best for them. I listened yesterday to an archbishop speak about love, and he quoted from the Bible, and he said something for me that was quite controversial. He said that if you love a friend, you will lay down your life. And for a second, I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Then I thought, oh, all those friendships that I've had, but realized they weren't friendships. They were acquaintances, or there was something, they were in your life to learn something, or they were there to gain something. But we mistake it as friendship and we get hurt. But it doesn't mean that you haven't loved. And there was another term he used. You don't know if you've loved until you've lost it. And then I thought to myself, that makes more sense now, that I've had friends and I've lost them, and I mourn them, even though they're still living, because of what they've given me, that richness of life. They've given me love in some way at that moment. And it's understanding that as we go through life, we spread love through our words, our inspiration, through our actions. Love encompasses many, many aspects of us. We are facets, not just individuals. There's many sides of us, many things that we do. Our passions and purposes, we love. We love mediumship. We've just done a course this weekend. We absolutely thrive on it. It makes us so joyful to be in that presence and power of the love of that unseen world. But it also brings us into the compassion and empathy understanding of all those people that participated, because they're trying their best. They're in that moment of love with you, sharing those stories of truth, of the afterlife, how they still live on, wanting to understand those processes. And they're bringing their passion and love into their work. And it just fills us such with joy, such as here on the Sunday gathering with Sandra, putting these ideas together, bringing love to you through our passions, our purposes, our understandings, listening to your understandings, feeling that joy within you, learning and healing and comforting from you, meeting you in the beginning, saying hello to David and many other people. We get to love who you are. We get to love your personalities, your characters. You bring us so much love. So we're myself, Sandra, Kerry, Darren, and Scott in the beginning brought all this idea together. It was through love. It was through friendship. It was through a truth, through bringing something we wanted to do in the beginning to help everybody. It was a love of service, a sacrifice of self to give, but we absolutely love it. So even though I use the word sacrifice, it isn't really a sacrifice. It's a passion. It's a purpose. It's an understanding. It's love. And it's understanding that as we create these thoughts of inspiration within us, they're not just ours, because they go into the universe. They go into the far beyond, the unseen world, and they get heard. And they are answered. You, ladies and gentlemen, are that answer of love. Sandra is that answer of love. Darren, Kerry, and hopefully myself are that answer of love, because all of us inspire, all of us lead, and we love little bits of each of us that we take and bring into ourselves to find that true, authentic self. There's a wonderful gentleman in the spirit world called Gilbert who started my journey off into mediumship. And he said one day to me, it's okay to love yourself. And I thought, that's the most egotistical thing I've heard. And I thought, how can I love myself? How dare I do that? But actually over time, and I get quite emotional when I think of John and what he did for me. But I thought over time, because he explained it bit by bit, it's all right to feel happy with what you've done because you did your best. You're trying your best. Your best is good enough. So it made me thought of that, love yourself in a different way. It learned me to like myself, to look in the mirror and thought, you know what, you've made mistakes, just like everybody else. Don't give yourself a hard time. Love yourself, because through that mistake, you've learned. Through those issues, you've learned. And you've learned that journey of love. So if we're going to give love, you've got to start with self and understand, not just to be the kindest person in the room, but to understand, to have the heart of everyone else is trying to be the kindest person. And I'm going to leave you those thoughts of how love has affected you and the rest of us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Carrie. You know, we all have family, don't we? We do. But it's not wrong to love your friends more. And that's the love I feel for Carrie and Phil right now. Oh, you guys are my soul brother, sister, whatever. I love you to the moon and back. And not only do we get to spend our Sundays together, soon we'll be together somewhere when that day happens. And then we get to spend our eternity together. How fun is that? And you guys too, you know, we're going to move into our demonstration of mediumship now. And I just want to tell you, I've done now, I think 450 different episodes of my podcasts about the afterlife. And the common denominator really is love. All these people who have had near-death experiences, they say the feeling of love, like we just felt just a little while ago, we may still be glowing in the love, but multiply it by like 4 billion. And that's the feeling. And so who is around all of us right now? Even if you're sitting alone, wherever you are, you've got loved ones in the unseen world that have that powerful love for you. And like Phil was talking about loving ourselves, if we could just see ourselves, not only through the eyes of our family and friends, but for these loving souls that are around us in the invisible space, I don't think we'd be so hard on ourselves. I don't. But they want to share their love now. And so this is now our demonstration of mediumship. And of course, we've got Phil and Carrie being our demonstrating mediums today. And while there only may be a handful of loved ones that come through, it's not because there's only a handful of loved ones that are with us. No, folks, there are thousands. There are thousands of loved ones that participate in our Sunday gathering, but they work together. They do. They have agreed probably before we even considered our theme today as to who would step forward and who would plant their memories and feelings and all of those things within Carrie and Phil. I find through all the contacts made and all the messages given that if you try them on, they might just be the advice you need today. So there is a method to the madness, as they say. So in a moment, Carrie and Phil will work, and they will first present some information from the spirit person that has connected with them. And of course, they are still people. We're not balls of energy or anything. We are people with personalities, as you'll see. But when they do, Carrie and Phil will deliver some initial bits of information. And we really want you to listen in closely. We always have a good sized group on our Sunday gathering. But if you understand these first initial bits of information, and they fit for someone that you know that no longer walks this earth, it could be a loved one, it could be a friend, it could be a little bit distant association. But if you can recognize every single bit of information, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now we know we've got some new folks always on our Sunday gathering. And then we know we've got people that like to get a little exercise. So if you want to look on your device, find where that raise hand button is and just press it. See what happens on your side. I love this. The lights, we can see all kinds of hands going up on our side in our virtual world. And now it should say lower hand. So you want to press it again so that your hands go down. Very nice, very nice, very nice. When we figure out who this person is here, 4, I will press a button on my side that will allow you to unmute yourself. You can't see that button right now, and you'll have an opportunity to speak with Carrie and Phil, but they do the hard work. All you need to do is say one of 3 things: yes, no, or I don't know, to the information that they give you. Because a spirit person is working with them, like I said, planting pictures in their minds, feelings, memories. They use everything they've got. And it's okay if you give a no, because they teach in their Thursday class and Wednesday class. No means new opportunity. So they'll dial it in and see what might be off. So yeah, that's all I need to say. We always play a powerful piece of music before our demonstration of mediumship. We do this to make us all feel good and bring us all in at that same level, if we can do that. The song is called From Now On. And I really think, like what Phil left us with about self-love and leave everyone happier and kinder because you're around them. From now on, if we can be more loving, whoever that means to. So we're going to play the song. Like I say, I always envision my loved ones, even if they're still alive and not presently with me, invite them in on the space. You probably don't need to invite them because they're right here loving you. So just sit back, feel good, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes together. Here we go. I love that song. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Sandra, and I love that song too. It's one of those songs that creeps up on you and you've got to move with it. The temptation to get up and dance was incredible, and I don't dance, but there we go. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here as always, and it's just a joy to feel that inspiration. And even though Sandra might have given us the theme, sometimes we plan what we're going to talk about, and sometimes we're just inspired by the spirit world. And I absolutely love it when that inspiration just powers through you. So it's a great pleasure to be part of that address. But here now, it's mediumship, and I can feel the spirit world come in. I can feel their presence, and it just gives me this overwhelming feeling of love. But I'm still waiting for that person to say who they are. Okay, so that's fine. So I know here I have Mum with me, and I know Mum has a real passion for singing. And I know as I begin to work with her and get to know her, I know that Mum would have, in fact, I may have made a mistake, actually. I don't believe her with Mum, but I know I've got a lady with me, and I know she loves to sing, and I know she would have had a passion, and I do believe that she would have been in either a choir as well. So I know that she would have sung and would have loved to really open those lungs up. But I also know that she was, I want to say, I don't feel that she lived past that middle age, because I just feel there was a cancer that took her. So somebody would understand Mum having a real zest for life, but loving to sing and being part of a choir. If I feel it's right. I'm not sure it is Mum, actually. I know I've got a lady. That's fine.
Okay, no problem. And if you'd like to raise your hands if you understand this. We have Angela with her hand raised. Angela, if you could find that unmute button that should have appeared, and there you are. Hi, Angela.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Angela. Do you understand? I'm going to go with this. Do you understand Mum, who would have loved to sing and she was part of a choir?
I understand an aunt.
An aunt, that's fine, because I just got that impression. Just for my peace of mind, would I be right in saying it was Mum's sister?
It was Mom's sister, yes.
That's fine, because I knew Mum played a part, but I wasn't quite sure. But she must have loved, and I must admit, she must have really had a passion for singing.
She had.
And I want to say that, and forgive me, my musical terms are not great, but I know that she would have sung solo parts, and she would have had a quite distinctive voice that she hit the higher notes.
She did. She was good, yes.
I know she was good, because what I can hear, I can't do justice to. So I know that she could really put it, and I know that she could really hold a note as well and hold her breath for some time as she sung.
Yes, she could.
But also I want to say that she came from humble beginnings. Would I be right in saying she would have sung in a church choir as well?
I wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know that?
I don't think so.
There must, then let me just have a look at this for you, because I know here there must have been a faith and belief that she had about love and everything else in life, if it wasn't actually a
Yes.
church, that's fine, because I know there's a truthfulness from her heart as well. And I also believe that singing got her through hard times, Angela.
Yes.
And I want to say that you would have memories of her singing around the home.
Yes.
And I want to say that it's almost like that song we've just listened to. It was quite infectious. You wanted to get up. She had this way of inspiring people.
Yes.
But I also believe as well, even though she could sing and she had this beautiful gift of doing that, I believe she was quite a positive lady as well.
She was.
And I want to say that she always did her best for people. And there was an element where she sacrificed herself for others.
There was, yes.
Because I actually believe, Angela, that she would have almost taken time out away from her life to help other people.
She was like that, yes.
Because I know this is just the impression she gets. But would I be right in saying that she came from or was raised through either that late period of the Second World War, or that would have touched her?
Yes, she was
Because
born
I
at
know
37, yes.
that's right, because I know there's an element here of living through when people had to come together and where there was hardships, and that seemed to inspire her. And I want to say, even through those hard times, she saw the good in people and life.
Yes.
And I want to say as well, this is why she's coming forward today, to help you move forward within your life. And it just feels here, if I'm right with this, Angela, now and again you sing yourself.
Yes, I do, yes.
Because again, there's
Hello.
this inspiration she wants to come forward and help you with your voice. And I want to say as well that you're a morning person, Angela.
Yes, yes.
Because I know this is the time of morning, time of day when you sing. And again, with your auntie, would I be right in saying she had a good sense of humor?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it just feels where she says, as long as we don't sing too early in the morning and wake people up. So I know here it's just her way and her mannerisms, because I just feel she's got this delightful personality about her. And I know and the words going through my mind is what Kerry said about being the kindest person in the room. I know that she chose her words very carefully.
Yes.
And I want to say, even till the day she passed, she stayed positive.
Yes.
And would I be right, Angela, that you have some photographs of your auntie as well?
I'm looking at it now.
Because I know here, it's just, she keeps on bringing, I've never met you, Angela, I don't know what you look like, but I just keep on seeing this lady looking at photographs, so I presume it was you. So I know you've looked at them and I got them, but I get this impression with her, as I've been talking to her, you've sent your fondness, your love to her.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
she's just said, I love you too. So again, I know she's around. And in a way, I want to say she was like a mother to you, Angela.
She was very close to me, yes.
Exactly, because I know there's more than just the relationship of aunt. There's a tremendous love here, like a mum, and the way that she's coming across is very personal. And I know she was a very house-proud lady as well.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
she liked things in place and in order as well.
Yes, she did.
Would I be right,
Yes.
Angela, saying that she also not composed professionally, but she would have made her own songs as well?
I made my own songs.
It's
I
you
don't
that,
know
okay,
if
that's
she
fine.
did.
That's fine. I've got that bit wrong. So that's
Mm.
fine. So just give me that no, and I would have worked that. But I
She
know here
could
it's
have
you.
done. She
Okay,
could have done. I
that's
just
fine.
don't know.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Then I'd rather have the no than it's with you, as you've said. So that's fine. And I know she's here to inspire you and bring you that love. So I'm going to leave that with you, knowing that your auntie's with you, still singing her heart out, inspiring from the spirit world to help you now with choices, but also within that delightful songs you're writing.
Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome, Angela. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Phil.
Good, good. That's fine. Okay. All right. So I know here I have a young gentleman with me. I do believe this young gentleman is a friend. Can't get my words out because I'm still in my pictures and everything from today. I know he's a friend, and I know he would have been involved in either theatre performances or cabaret because I can see him acting on stage. So I know this friend would have been an actor. I don't feel he was on Broadway or anything like that, but I do believe that he would have been in the local theatres and that circuit as well. So I know I have a young friend here now in the spirit world that would have been into acting in the theatres, but I feel it's more that cabaret entertainment side.
Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who can understand this gentleman? Young gentleman.
So while we wait a second, what we always do is blend with the spirit world still. We never let go of them. Is there anybody coming forward yet, Sandra?
No,
No, that's absolutely fine. Then I was looking at this as I said it and was waiting. Then if I'm not going to change too much, because I do believe that he would have, if he wasn't in the theatres, he was quite outgoing, a bit of an extrovert. And where I said he was acting, he could be quite dramatic in life and in person with him. Because I just feel there's like almost, there should be a memory of either him with either what's they called, the feather boa or something like this, and I know there's that expression with him, so I know that he's coming forward, and I know he's looking for that friend as well.
All right, Rebecca has her hand up. We'll bring her in. Rebecca, could you unmute yourself and say hello?
Hi, can you hear me, Phil?
Yes, I can hear you, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
This is interesting to me. I can't take it exactly as you have said it, but I do have a male friend in the spirit world. You said your mouth tripped and said something about film. He was involved in film, not acting on stage.
Right,
And
bear with me.
And there's something about feathers. There's
Yes.
something important about wearing feathers.
That's fine. Would I be right in saying he was a bit of an extrovert, though? He could be a bit of an extrovert.
Yes.
And would you understand where he loved to entertain?
Yes.
Because again, there's this sense of, I've made the sense, then he must have, if he was in films, then he must have started at the bottom through theatre and drama school and things.
I don't know how he started.
You don't know, because I know there's
later.
Okay, but I know there's a theatrical side to him, so he could really be that thespian. He could really bring things alive in his acting.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay. But I also want to say he was a bit of a personality as well.
Yes.
Because I know he could entertain people, and he could be a little bit of a wild card at times, almost like he was up and down.
Yeah.
And I know here as well with him, and I want to say, even though away from that side of him that I portrayed, he was a very kind soul.
Absolutely, yes.
And I want to say that if you really got to know him, it was completely the opposite, almost like he wore this smile and pretense as a bit of a charade. As you got to know him, he was very sincere.
Yes.
And where I say sincere, I believe that he did things quietly in the background to help others, almost like charity work.
Yes.
And I do believe with him, the way that he is, he must have took a shine to you as well, Rebecca.
Yes.
Because there's a sense of wanting to really get to know you. And I want to say that he looked on you as a good friend.
Yes.
And I also know you looked on him as a good friend as well.
Yes.
But I also believe there's a question at times, would we make a good couple?
Yes.
Because I know there's this impression that, but would I be right in saying that it never went past that?
Yes, that's correct.
Because I know here, but would I be right in saying at times he was confused with who he was at times?
I'm not sure about that. I just don't know.
Would I be right in saying that some people, because of his sensitivity, got the wrong idea of who he was?
I'm not sure.
Okay, then there must be a real sensitive side to him, though.
Yes.
And that sensitive side could be taken advantage of at times.
Yes, I believe that's true.
Because I know here this is the way that he comes and I can't change it. But I also want to say that the way that he looked was important because he liked to present himself immaculately.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Because I know everything's got to be in place. And again, it's this charade, because it's almost where he falls into that pretense of how people wanted him to be, but then there's that struggle within him, how he was.
Yes, I'd say that's probably true.
That's fine. And I also believe as well that with him, I don't feel he reached a mature age. I feel that unfortunately he's one of those ones that was taken before his time.
He didn't get old, but he was middle-aged.
Okay, then let me put it this way. Where you said he was middle-aged, because that's where I felt he was, because it's no age to go, it just feels here that he still had that youth about him.
Oh, yes.
And it's almost like I looked on life the best way I could and wanted to really, and I feel that he saw the beauty of life as well.
Yes.
And when I say the beauty of life, I feel he loved to be outdoors in the great outdoors as well.
Absolutely, yes.
And would I be right in saying where he lived was like quite a well-to-do street or road that had trees along it?
Yes.
And I want to say there were steps up to the house as well.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Then bear with me 1 second. Would I be right in saying he would have lived, and forgive my geography, in a suburb of New York?
No.
Then if it's not him, you must have lived in like an area close or a location close to New York. Say no if it's not right.
I'm trying to see if there's a reference here that I can remember. It
That's
doesn't
fine.
relate to anything about us that I can.
That's absolutely
moment.
fine. I need to look at this. Then there must have been with him family that came from that area.
That's possible.
Because I know here that there's this familiarity with that suburb, and forgive my geography, but I know it's a state or a thing of New York. But again, I keep on getting that with him. But I also know that he could be quite adamant in his personality. He could be to the point as well.
Yeah.
Because again, he won't let go of it for me. But I know the reason why he's here is to bring that real empathy of life to you, that positivity, but also the enjoyment of almost living life to the full. And where he was that actor, I feel that larger than life person is about all enjoying life for you, Rebecca.
That makes a lot of sense, Phil.
Bear with me 1 second. Would I be right, Rebecca, that you work with characters yourself? Or people that have quite spontaneous characters?
I'm not sure.
Bear with me. There's just something I want to look at here. Thank you. Where he came in with this larger than life personality and this character, the way he presented himself with the feather boa and everything, would I be right in saying you, with either work colleagues, have colleagues that are sometimes not being the person they're meant to be or true to who they really are? Politest way of putting it. Say no, it's not right.
I'm just not sure how to fit that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just not sure how to interpret that.
I'm trying to be polite. You see, sometimes I'm too polite and I should really come out and say it. But I know here, if I said there's people around you, you're questioning or worry at work.
No, not at work.
But around you, would you understand?
I've been so isolated, it's hard to say.
That's fine. It's absolutely fine. Can you just remember he's mentioned it, because I won't change it,
Okay.
because I know it's just his pretense as well, Rebecca. So I'm going to leave his love with you, but just remember his words. Okay.
Okay, thank you
Good,
so
good,
much.
good.
I'm delighted to hear from him.
Absolutely pleasure. Absolute pleasure. That's fine.
Thank you, Rebecca.
I'm
Thank you,
looking
Carrie.
for my drink. That's it. There we go. Thank you. Kerry's trying to cook me out. I should have opened the door and let a bit of cool air in.
Oh,
Okay, it's absolutely fine. Okay, so that's fine here. Okay, so as I become aware, I know I've got again a young boy. I do believe it's son. I know that son has learning difficulties, but I also know there's a real independence with him of wanting to live that normal life, whatever normal is. But I know here he's got this inspiring way of really bringing the best out of people as well. And again, with him, I only feel I want to be either in my early 20s when I pass, or maybe just that little bit younger as well. So I know I have son, I know he's got learning disabilities, and I know I'm that young age around that early 20s or just below.
all right. Thank you very much. We have Sherry with her hand raised. Sherry, if you would unmute yourself, my friend. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, my son had learning disabilities and he was 25 when he transitioned.
That's fine. Then would you understand, Sherry, with your son, that he had this ability just to stay positive?
Yes, most of the time, and most people.
And I want to say, even though he had these, please just say yes or no, even though this time where he had disabilities, he wouldn't have seen that. He would have just got on with life.
Yes.
And it's almost where if people tried to help him or tried to do things in support, he wouldn't always accept it.
Yes.
Because I know there's a real independence with him where he wants to do things himself. And would I be right in saying, even though he's still that young age, that desire to live independently was really strong with him?
Yes, it was.
Because it just feels where I want, like I said, that normal life. Would I be right as well, though, even though there's that disability there, he was an intelligent young man.
Yes, he was.
And I want to say he was not just intelligent intellectually, I want to say he had emotional intelligence as well.
Yes, he did.
Because there's an understanding of how people feel. And I know that you're his mum, Sherry, but I know there's a great love for you and a real, not just love, but a feeling of protection for you. So I know he doted on you.
Yes, he did.
And I also believe with your son, Sherry, as well, he could be quite spontaneous with drawing and making things for you.
Yes.
And I do believe that you would still have some not photographs, but pictures he drew for you.
Yes. That's.
And I also believe even at a young age, he showed his tenderness through that love.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying that you either kept some either dolls or action figures that he was attached to as a child?
I did, but someone else got rid of them.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I know he mentions them because I know there's almost the way he references this where he was quite attached to them. It's almost that sense of where he's still attached to you. I also know that you would have spent a lot of time with him, taking him for ice creams as well.
Yes.
Because I know he stands here with an ice cream cone, and you must have taken him to fairgrounds as well, Sherry.
Yes. Yes,
because
I did.
he stood here with candy floss, I don't know what you call it in the States, and toffee apples. So I know that he loved the sweeter things.
Yes, he did.
And I also know he liked those rides, which, you know, when he's strapped in a little chair and he just spin round like swings.
Yes.
And there must be a memory of where he went on the horse rides as well. Do you know when they're on the merry-go-round?
Carousel. Yes,
That's
the carousel.
because I know, and I just keep on getting the music, and all I can see is his little happy smiling face, smiling away and grinning and laughing, and he had a distinctive laugh as well.
Yes, he did.
That's fine. And I know you've got photographs of him on the carousel.
I think I do.
I know you do, because I keep on seeing photographs of him as well. But again, it's the little memories you shared, because there must have been little stalls on those fairgrounds where you could win little prizes.
Yes.
Because I've got to make a confession. I feel he got little teddy bears or figures off there.
Yes. Okay.
Because that's what I wanted to say have been kept. That because I just realized what I'd done wrong. But there must be memories where you helped him achieve some of those prizes.
Probably. I'm sure I did. Yes.
Would I be right in saying you would remember a little stall on there that was like hook a duck and things? You had to hook things out to the water.
Yes.
That's fine. And there would be memories of like little slides, helter-skelter type things where they sit on a mat and go down.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
again, it just feels the way that he's enjoying the fairground. It's this betrayal where he wants to really bring in the fun that you shared, how he was laughing and how you were enjoying yourself, because it's the memories of where he took all the stress and worries away from you in those happy memories as well.
Yes.
And there must be as well, Sherry, memories of going in to see a circus or a small circus act at these fairgrounds.
Yes.
Because again, I'm seeing the clowns and I'm just laughing. I want to laugh so much. But I know your son is here just to rejoice in those memories. And as I said earlier on in the address, those memories now are lighting up and bringing back other memories for you. That's why he's here, to let you know that you are loved, you are cared for, you are being supported, and he is there listening to you, because I know you still talk to him in the spirit world.
I do, yes.
And I also know he's not on his own. I know you have mum in the spirit world that would have worked with children as well.
Yes.
Because I know they're both together looking after each other. In fact, I don't know if Son's looking after her more than she's looking after him, because it's just his nature. So I'm going to leave his love with you, Sherry, and say thank you so much for allowing me to do that.
Thank you so much, Phil.
You're absolutely welcome. It's an absolute pleasure. It is a great pleasure again, ladies and gentlemen, to share your love, to work within that love. And I'm going to hand you over probably to the greatest love of my life, Miss Kerry McLeod.
Oh, we love Carrie as well. We love you, Phil. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. Love is all you need, folks. That's what we're talking about. Hi, Carrie.
Hello. It's funny, I heard Phil say probably the greatest love in his life.
I have children as well. I have children.
Yes, I know. But it gets a laugh, and what's happening is everybody watching right now has got a little giggle in them. So that's what it's all about. As I work with the spirit world here, I know that I need to move quickly into saying I have sister here, because I was sitting as Phil was working in that last contact with Sherry. I know I had sister coming in, and I was being very polite and asking her to stand back, because she was wanting to give me more and more. So I know I have sister here. I know that sister would have had a real appreciation for creativity and for paints. I don't feel that she painted professionally, but I do know she would have had a palette or one of those things you mix paints in, and I do feel it was her way of expressing her creativity. And I know she's not the most loudest person in the room, because she is inwardly very calm but full of joy and love. This would make sense to somebody.
Thank you, Carrie. All right. Who understands? This a beautiful lady. Lisa has her hand up. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Lisa. You understand the sister in the spirit world?
Yes.
Okay, and you understand sister having this adoration for painting?
Yes.
Okay, she must have had her own paint palette as well.
Yes.
And would you understand that somebody has that paint palette still?
I had it. I'm not sure where it is, but I did have it.
Okay, but you know where that paint palette went to after she passed. Lisa, would you understand your sister passed with a cancer?
Yes.
Okay. And within this, just trying to understand, you would know where you and your sister didn't always see eye to eye.
Yes.
Okay, because I know there's a bit of reticence on the part of your sister about being very open with me. So I know there's this not quite seeing eye to eye. And although she was very inward, I know that she had very strong views. And you must have disagreed with some things that she did, Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know there's a stubbornness about her that even today, I'm not saying she doesn't love you, but even today, it's that sense of, this is my way.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
definitely.
there must be paintings that your sister did, Lisa, that you still know where they are.
Yes.
And I want to say that some of them are framed and some of them are not.
Yes.
And she must have preferred the oil paintings rather than watercolor.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I need to say as well, and I know that you have husband in the spirit world, and I know that it's your sister that wants to acknowledge that very recently you have been wondering whether everybody's spirit side is chatting to one another.
Yes, I did.
Okay, then your thoughts have been received, and I know that this is your sister by way of her painting, wanting to paint that picture for you of everybody having conversations, spending time together, and for you to know for sure that everybody is in that space together within that spirit world, Lisa. Thank you very much for allowing me to do that for you.
Thank you so much, Carrie.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, I do have a gentleman here, and I do want to say that I feel like he spent time in the American Air Force. I feel he was fairly senior in the American Air Force, and I do want to say that somebody here would still have commendations or awards that he would have been given for achievements and contribution to his country. I wanted to say husband, but I actually feel that it is family, but I would not be surprised if this were a close relative, family, son, brother. But I know that this is the way he brings it in. And I know he's got a lovely sense of humor. I'm just waiting till we find a recipient. Does that make sense to somebody, Sandra?
Thank you, Carrie. All right, who can understand this man? Oh, Lisa's got her hand back up. Let's see. Lisa?
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Lisa. This makes sense to you.
Yes, my brother-in-law.
Okay, and did he get fairly senior in the American Air Force?
Yes.
Okay, then if this is correct, you would also know who has his commendations and his awards or medals.
Yes.
Well, I think they're trying to get their point across that they're all together. So please, I'm going to ask them to take their party to your house. So please know that this is this is the spirit world letting you know that they are indeed all together. You are not alone, Lisa.
Yeah, I traveled. I traveled recently, so they're all here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Carrie.
That's good for all of us to hear, isn't it?
It's incredible how no matter what anybody wants, the spirit world always get their way, because we know there's a real need there to have answers and questions answered. Okay, I do get a sense of a gentleman, and I do feel he was in the Navy, but I want to, okay. I do feel I'm going to the Americas, or the North Americas. And I want to say that this gentleman must have spent an incredible amount of time away. And I know too, he was in the Navy, or the American version of the Navy, but I want to say he must have been based on submarines, because I know he went out to sea for long periods of time. And I know the stories he came back with, he didn't share everything that he saw and did. And I actually feel that there was, as you got to know him, there would have been more. I do feel that he served his country.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, who understands this gentleman? Stacy's got her hand up. Stacy, could you press unmute? There you are. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Carrie. I understand everything, but it wasn't a submarine.
Okay, thanks, Stacey. Can you hang on just for a second and let's see if somebody else understands this, because I know I took a deep dive.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, we also have Sandra here. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. Yes, my father-in-law was, he was a retired lifer. They call it a lifer. And yes, he
Okay,
did.
so don't give me any more. Sandra, meet Sandra. Okay, so Sandra, you're saying this is your father-in-law?
Correct.
Then you must have, although he spent a lot of time at sea, he must have had a very soft spot for you.
Yes.
Because you feel like daughter to him.
Yes, he called me daughter.
Oh, because I know today's theme is love, but honestly, the love he has for you and the respect. Okay, he's sharing everything, and in my mind and my soul, I'm saying, we'll get there. We will get there. You understand when he went out for those long, I've never heard the term lifer, so I've learned something new today. But I know when he went out in these submarines, he went, he couldn't tell you exactly where the submarine had been.
Yes.
You would know where the submarine would be in other waters apart from the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
And he's also very funny.
Yes. Yes.
Oh dear, he is so funny.
Yes.
He must have told you jokes about how gentlemen used to create wind in the submarine and then say it was me and run away.
Oh, that would be him.
But I know that the serious side of him is the submarine he was in must have gone, he must have told you a little bit about some of the things he did.
He told a little, but he told my husband more.
Okay, and would you know about, don't tell me what they are, but would you know? Okay, let me share with you what I see. I do know that the submarines he would be in would go over borders into territories that ordinarily would not be occupied by a US submarine.
That would make sense.
Okay, and I do know he would go in fact finding, I was going to say excursions, but he would go on to find facts about enemy countries.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that he would have spoken very strongly about, oh, he is so strong in his mind, about oppositions to the Western culture.
Absolutely.
Because I know there's an awful thing happening in the world just now, but your father-in-law is ripping into them like you would not even believe.
Absolutely.
And I do know he has taken account of some of the information that affected the Cold War. He was responsible in finding, and if you can check with your husband, then, because I know that some of the information for the Cold War, your husband must have been involved in that reconnaissance or that fact-finding mission. I know too, Sandra, that your father-in-law must have also been able to quickly come to shore and just let go in terms of what he was doing and how he was.
He certainly, he
You
certainly
would
did.
not have known he was the position he was within that submarine.
Yes.
I also, you and him, Sandra, the family must have gone on a cruise or a boat trip together.
No, but that was always a goal that
Oh,
was not.
okay, just a no, and I can work for you, because I know that then he must have gone on a cruise then.
He cruised on a Harley.
No, but thank you for trying to help me. There's a sense with him that he always felt like, Sandra, would you understand your father-in-law to have been captain?
He
No
was
or yes?
chief.
Okay. I don't, because I know that he would have been able to step in and take control, because he showed me the ship and he showed me, yep, let me be captain, let me have control there. But I also know he was captain of his own ship at home. I know he was out at sea for a long time, but when he came in, somehow he got everything back in order before he left again.
True.
And I know he wouldn't have stood for any nonsense. And I need to say to you that he absolutely adored what you did for his son.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
I know that there would have been things that you were wondering whether your father-in-law agreed with. And from the spirit side, he says everybody needs a little kick up the posterior every now and then. Now, with your father-in-law, he must have had a picture of the submarine he served on.
Yes.
And with that picture, there must have been a little plaque on the bottom that said, given to, or this was a submarine.
I could look into that.
Okay, because I know there's a commemoration, not on there, but I also know there's a commemoration. So there must be a plaque in the port or the dock where that submarine came back to him within the area of the Navy he was in that is dedicated to him.
Ooh. I'll have to go to Groton, Connecticut and figure that out.
Oh, I've just given you a reason for a trip. I know there is an incredible humility about your father-in-law. And I also know he didn't know a great deal about his heritage, his own heritage. Give me a no then, because then he must have put a lot of effort into finding his ancestors and his family tree.
I feel like it's bleeding over into another aspect of the family.
Okay, then I know there is if this isn't him and it's somebody at the moment, it's his way of acknowledging what is being done and what's being sought out and that he sees it.
Yes.
So please know this is your father-in-law's way of saying, hi, I love you. Thanks for doing what you did, but also about not being frightened to actually take things that you feel are wrong and deal with them.
Thank you for that.
There's a phrase that was put on social media that I saw, and your father-in-law's just brought it to mind. Just, if it's wrong and everybody does it, it's still wrong. If it's right and nobody does it, it's still right. And he's bringing that phrase to mind for you, Sandra, because he always knew what was wrong and what was right.
That's very profound. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Sandra.
Thank you. Blessings, Carrie.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sandra. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us to work. It's been our delight to be able to work for you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Phil, behind the scenes. And everybody, can't you just feel the love that they're around us? They witness what's going on. They're still their own people. They still have their own personalities and thankfully senses of humor don't ever leave us. So just some announcements. I love watching Carrie and Phil work, and I am so grateful that I've partaken in some of their courses. And there is this really wonderful way they teach. The same personality comes through in their classes, but you actually get to use your feelings and be able to understand how our loved ones communicate, how our souls communicate. So there's some really cool things that are coming up. First of all, our weekly courses that we have, each month starts a new round of weekly courses, but they teach a beautiful psychic course on Wednesdays, a mediumship course on Thursdays, and there's a brand new class called Reading the Aura coming up on Tuesdays in May, and not been done with our community before, so we're very, very excited about that. On May the 7th, they have a class called Into the Essence. Now, whether you're advanced in psychic and mediumship or you have never taken a course with us, it is such a wonderful experience to start to use your feelings and see how they communicate. And it's fun. Anytime with Carrie and Phil is fun, but it really is wonderful to share in that, and things that you think are just in your head or it's part of you, come to find out it's just a subtle way that the love is being communicated through you. So when they work, and I see them work, certainly they just had their class on clairvoyance, excuse me, but everything they teach is through how the spirit world uses our feelings and how our soul uses our feelings. So come join for Into the Essence on May 7th. They also have a wonderful class on May 14th and 15th called Moving the Consciousness. And how many of us feel that our minds get involved so much? And wouldn't it be nice that we can set the mind aside and let the spirit world work through us and through our own consciousness? Now, anyone who's witnessed our friend Scott Milligan do his trance mediumship, that's just what he does, quiets the mind and lets that happen. But it can also be used for mediumship. And I'm sure Carrie and Phil have plenty of stories that as they're giving information, it actually feels like they become your loved one. They can set their consciousness aside so that they can actually feel the love that your loved one has for you. They can actually feel and participate in the stories as if they have done them. So that's Moving the Consciousness. It's a 2-day course on May 14th and 15th. Coming up this week, our friend Scott on Friday is going to be doing a sitting for healing, followed by a demonstration of trance mediumship. Also, if you're interested in something like that, we have whole bunches of those that are recorded. You can simply use a coupon code free and you can watch them. There's a lot of that going on. The home base for everything is wedon'tdie.com. And at the top, there's a tab for Sunday gatherings, so it's not too soon to join for next week. There is a store page that tells everything that's coming up. You can find out about these courses and more that are coming up and discover them. We have a Facebook group. You can join, meet like-minded people, plenty of people there to love. Also, you can listen to over 450 episodes with yours truly talking about all of this. So we also have our weekly at-home classes. There's a lot. So it's a good place to go. And one thing is for sure, it's so tough to experience love when you're just sitting alone. You can certainly do it. You can call people. You can get in a Zoom meeting. You can take a stroll down memory lane to feel some love. But there is nothing like being part of our community in one of our classes. That they're different than this. On our Sunday gathering, we can see your names, but we can't see you. In our classes, we can see you and you can talk, and they're juicy, wonderful. So if you go to that store button, like I said, you can scroll down. You can also find my audiobook, We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. And one thing is true, the more we love, the more grief hurts. Because I'm sure we've all known some distant people to us that have passed, and we do not feel that sting of grief, or maybe just a little bit, but those that we love the deepest, it hurts the most. And chapter 10 of my book is How to Survive Grief. And there are some tools to understand it and move through it, why we have to grieve, what's happening in our biology, and just things to help. So please use coupon code FREE for that also, be my gift to you. And as we're talking about love, I was thinking that quote that I had read earlier from Mother Teresa, let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier, be the living expression of God's kindness, kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile. It reminded me of this little game my father and I played. Now, my father passed of cancer in excruciating pain. It was not a pleasant time, but something we did is every doctor or nurse that walked into the room, or whoever it was, we made sure that they left that room feeling better and happier. So Dad and I would play the game. What are we going to talk about? And what are we going to say to them? And whether we put a giggle or smile or something on their face. And guess what that did to my dad's pain level? Yes, you guessed it. It brought it down. It erased it for those moments that he was concentrating on someone else. There was no pain. He didn't feel it. There was joy. So I think for some words for the week, wouldn't it be nice for all of us to play the little game of, let no one come into our space without leaving happier. You can also get people talking about love. You can have them think of times that they felt love, or who have you really loved in your life? Get people talking about that, or times that they really loved, or vacations that they really loved. And it's a strategy for sure, but oh my God, it works like a charm. When you get people speaking about great times, it can change like a grumpy miser into a really happy person. And then what happens is like the ricochet effect, the boomerang, because you'll start feeling it too. And then you'll naturally start thinking about the joy and the love that you felt. So let's just keep our eyes on love. How about that? And don't be surprised how much love and happiness you feel because you are giving it out. All righty. So that's the homework if you want to take it for this week. And that's it for me. I'll turn it over to my friends for the closing prayer.
Thank you, Sandra, for that lovely homework that you've set us all. I think it's very important we all hear that. But it's that time of our Sunday gathering that we unite in what we call prayer. So I ask you to close your eyes, rejoice within that love. Think of those memories that Sandra's just asked you to dwell within. And remember that we are made from love, we live within love, and we ask our Father, that great infinite Spirit, to come around us. Great infinite Spirit, we ask for that blessing, ask for that truth, that inspiration that we call love, to help us be the best people that we can be, to help bring that love within this world and bring peace to those places that need it, but also understanding that love conquers death, that love inspires us to be the best that we can be, to be that kindest person within this room, to inspire others, to lead from example. It is, Father, within that love we ask to be cherished, to be loved, inspired, not just now, but within this coming week until we meet again, knowing that our thoughts and intentions are living and heard by you. So as we sit within this prayer of love, we know that our thoughts will be answered by that great unseen world and that love brought into this world where that peace is needed. It is now, Father, that time to rejoice as we send our love to you. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carrie and Phil, for being my buddies and hosts with the most, you know what I'm trying to say. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us today. You are part of our family. You're part of our community, even if we've never met in person. Someday we might, and I hope we do, but this is a very real community and your family. You really are. So we're grateful that you're here. And also a shout out to our friends in the spirit world. Thank you for joining us and being part of our lives. They don't just show up on Sundays, ladies and gentlemen. They have work to do and lives to live in the spirit world, but they're just only a thought away. They can just come right over anytime they want. So with that, we're going to go into our closing song. And you always see at a wedding when the bride has a dance with her dad. And so this is a special one that might just bring a little smile to your face and a little chuckle, a little laugh to your heart. Here you go.